the beginning of our efforts in 2008 to help businesses successfully use social media, we've used Mayberry as a perfect metaphor for the new small-town economy. Welcome to Monetizing Mayberry. I'm Mark Bortz, the founder of Mayberry, and this is Matt Cost, our digital marketing director. Digital marketing is much like Mayberry. Instead of pushing out a brand message through broadcast media, businesses pull customers in by building relationships and inspiring brand advocates.
We've developed this series entitled Monetizing Mayberry to walk you through the steps to leveraging the digital marketing platforms and grow your business. Our ultimate goal is to see your organization profit from using social media.
These 10 chapters build upon each other to prepare you for realizing real results on the path to success with digital marketing. If you're joining us for the first time, we encourage you to start from Chapter 1. We hope you enjoy. At the start of this series, we learned how the social networking world is much like Mayberry and how relationships matter. In order to develop relationships with customers and prospects, you must get your business involved, but you must also think through a strategy before you begin. The marketing world has changed in the last 20 years. The ability for a business to push out their message to the masses no longer provides a distinct advantage over the business who can generate support through relationships and word of mouth. In this chapter, which we've entitled The Bench and the Barber's Chair, we'll learn how to generate real connections with potential customers using the social spaces in the digital networks, and then create a community built around the products and the services that you offer.
If you remember in the Andy Griffith Show, many times you'd find Floyd sitting on the bench outside his barber shop. When he wasn't giving one of his famous haircuts, Floyd would sit and talk to neighbors passing by. Many times the guys from around Mayberry would stop into the barber shop, not just to get their haircut, but to play checkers, discuss current events, read comic books, strum the banjo while Floyd played his trombone, or just shoot the breeze. You see, in Floyd's barber shop, there were two places to sit, the bench and the barber's chair. When Floyd wasn't engaged in his essential duties, he'd venture outside the store to where his customers were, out into the community. From the bench outside the store, he connected with those who passed by, meeting new friends and reconnecting with old friends. From the bench, he would get to know his community and allow the community to get to know him. It's important to note here that Floyd doesn't wear a sandwich board sign or call to passersby with a blowhorn to bring customers into the barber shop. He simply puts on his barber coat, hangs up his sign, and goes to where the people are. Floyd's door is always open for customers to get a trim, or for friends just looking to spend an afternoon with him.
Even from the barber's chair, Floyd is building community. Non-paying customers are welcome to come into the shop, hang out, and connect with Floyd and the others who are there. Most barbers don't even allow non-paying customers to just loiter in their shop, much less intentionally make room for them and save them a seat. Not Floyd. Floyd cares about the people in his community, and he enjoys their company. And Floyd knows where these non-paying, checker-playing loiterers will go when they need their next haircut. Same place they go all the time, Floyd's. You may be starting to connect the dots at this point. So let's look at how this applies to your business in the new small town economy. In your business, you have your very own barber's chair. It's the place where your customers come in and exchange their money for your products or your services. It could be your brick and mortar store. It could be your customer's home. It could simply be your website. The space where you sell whatever it is you sell is your virtual barber's chair. If you want to connect with your potential customers or your potential customer base, periodically you'll need to leave the barber's chair, walk outside on the sidewalk, and sit on the bench. In the new economy, our park bench represents the social networks. These are the spaces where many of your customers and your prospects are hanging out, all 1 billion of them.
Your website is only a click away from the vast majority of your potential and actual customers. But many of them are just walking by, so to speak, never straying from their Facebook news feed or Pinterest boards. The only way to connect with them is to meet them in their space, where they are, on the sidewalk as they walk by. So how do we do that? How do you engage customers in their space in the social networks and then bring them into the space where you do business? The answer may be simpler than you think. Start by creating a Facebook account. Make new Facebook friends. Go to other people's pages and interact. Read their posts, like their pictures. Offer your insightful comments. Talk about whatever they're talking about. All of that seems like common sense, but so often in the digital age, business people think that if they create a nice website or company Facebook page, customers will line up to come hang out. Many businesses take the "if you build it, they will come" approach. The problem with this approach is people weren't searching for Floyd's barbershop when he met them on the street. And people aren't likely going to search you out either. You've got to reach out. Go hang out on the street, be friendly, and make real friends.
We recently worked with a chain of grocery stores in the Midwest. One of their customers is involved in training seeing eye dogs for the blind. She came into the store and brought in a puppy in training with her. The puppy was using the grocery store as a training ground to learn social skills in a public setting. This scenario provided a golden opportunity for us to shift the focus away from our business and onto our community. We gathered some information about the puppy and her trainer. We shared that story on the store's blog page. In this post, we pointed the spotlight at the local organization, Leader Dogs for the Blind, which facilitates the dog training and connects people with disabilities to guide dogs who can provide safety and independence. But we didn't stop there. We located the Leader Dogs for the Blind Facebook page and we became a fan. Then we posted a link to our blog post on their wall. Keep in mind, the post had very little to do with the grocery store. It was mostly about leader dogs and their trainers. The administrator for the Leader Dogs for the Blind Facebook page liked our blog post so much they reposted it to their 10,000 plus Facebook fans, most of whom live smack dab in the middle of our target market. We often post coupons, weekly specials, recipes, and other valuable information on the store's blog page, but this week we talked about leader dogs. Our web traffic increased 300%. We also experienced a 300% increase in traffic to the store's Facebook page that week.
This process is a picture of the social network sales funnel. Reach out into the networks, engage prospects, and draw them to your website, and then convert the sale. You see, to reach customers where they're at, sometimes you have to step away from the barber's chair and sit outside the store on the bench. Haircuts are not the only thing Floyd's customers are interested in. They like to talk about all sorts of things, especially when they're not sitting in the barber's chair. Groceries are not the only thing our store's customers are interested in. They also like to talk about a variety of topics. When they're online and not in the grocery store, they're not always talking about groceries. If you want to talk to your customers and win them over as loyal friends, you'll have to join their conversation. One of the most amazing aspects of new media platforms is the ability they provide us to listen to what people are saying. We've heard plenty of business people say, I don't need to be on Twitter. No one cares what I had for lunch. The most valuable aspect of Twitter is not the ability the network gives you to talk to more people about what you had for lunch. The most valuable aspect is the ability it gives you to listen to what your customers, prospects, and their communities are talking about. The same goes for various other networks. The point is, you should be spending time sitting on the bench outside your store, being friendly, listening, greeting, connecting, and engaging. This is how you will begin to build an audience in your social network and create the loyal community you're looking to engage.
But what about when customers come into the barbershop? How do we turn our barbershop into a place where people want to spend their afternoon? In other words, how do we get our customer base to spend time on our Facebook page, commenting on our posts, and scrolling through our pictures, tweets, and pins? How do we get people to interact on our blog page? First, you've got to make room for the non-paying customers. Very rarely does a person sign into Facebook or Twitter with the intention of making a purchase. Let's just say never. People never sign on to Facebook or Twitter to make a purchase. People get involved with social networks to connect with their friends, find interesting and entertaining information, and to share their stuff. So why do so many businesses spend so much time selling to a group of people who have no intention on spending money? Imagine if Floyd pushed his haircuts on Barney every time he walked into the shop to talk or just to play checkers. What if he kept pushing haircuts over and over every day, multiple times a day? What if Barney just got a haircut the day before? He would probably find a new place to play checkers. It would be a perfect excuse for Barney to not visit Floyd.
Another client we worked with, a high-end restaurant, recently began posting their own blog and Facebook updates. We noticed a couple weeks later that there had been no activity in Facebook for many days. We contacted the client and reiterated to them that the importance of being consistent and staying active, even if it's not a daily post. The following day, a post appeared, and what did it include? Here's our weekly lunch specials. And then they proceeded to list each lunch special for that day along with the price. Floyd constantly selling his haircuts and the restaurant selling their lunch specials are great examples of how to turn customers and non-paying customers alike away. Remember, this is an opt-in communications channel, and keeping the audience engaged is integral to community development. We should be creating a place for customers to connect with friends, a place where our friends find interesting and entertaining information and share their stuff. All the while, they're hanging out around your barber's chair. And when it's time for their haircut, the chair is just one step away. Starbucks is one of the best at doing this. How many restaurants can you think of that have comfy chairs and no tables? Most establishments want you to come in, consume their products, and leave as quickly as possible. Not Starbucks. They want you to spend hours in their comfortable chairs, talk with friends, hold a business meeting, or host a study group right there in the store, whether you're spending money or not. They know the longer you sit there, smelling the coffee, reading the displays, and watching other people sip their drinks, the more likely you are to make a purchase. When you're ready to buy your cup of coffee, they're only a step away.
Here's the takeaway for businesses. Post content to your blog and your network pages that your customers will find valuable, whether it's informative, inspirational, or just funny. Try to keep the content centered around your business, your products, or your industry. It doesn't always need to be about business, but the closer the better. Don't sell. I said, do not sell. Encourage interaction on your website and all your networks. Ask questions, Stimulate conversation. Respond promptly when someone does communicate with you or ask another question. Keep in mind, 24 hours in online time is like a week in real time. Delaying your response could kill any buzz you've worked hard to create. Engaging your community in this way will bring them into your space and will help them to become comfortable with you. And in this process, you'll build trust and loyalty. Hang out on the bench more often and in other communities. Begin to think of non-paying customers as pre-purchase customers. Be eager to invite them to hang out in your shop as well. It's only a matter of time before they'll need a haircut or a cup of coffee. And when they do, your barber's chair is only a step away.
Thank you for tuning in to Monetizing Mayberry. We hope you're not only learning what digital marketing is, but how it can benefit your business's bottom line.
Over the next several chapters of this series, we'll continue to unpack the principles of Mayberry. These principles will provide you both the education and the application necessary to understand and implement a successful digital communication strategy for your business. A strategy that will help you make money.
Both Matt and I will lead you through the matrix of understanding, designing, developing, managing, and implementing. We believe that with the right elements, you will succeed and you'll gain real benefit from your efforts. If you're an owner or a C-level executive, I certainly encourage you to make your way through the entire series. It's critical that you understand and you support those that you have empowered to be social on your behalf.
If you're a marketing administrator, you'll absolutely want to attend every step of the way and be taking notes. We'll be providing you foundational building blocks, strategic concepts, and practical applications in every session. Join us again for the next chapter of Monetizing Mayberry.